I think it could have been them. What happened when we had the tea? It could have been hidden underneath the tablecloth. Wait a minute. If I remember rightly, I actually can't quite remember completely considering it's been a few days. Wasn't there something to do with the sauces? So like the tea was hot, the sauces were cold. Were they cold or were they heated? Because if they were chilled, then that could have actually been the time as to when it was stolen, and that's why they were chilled. That's my only idea. I can't think of any other time it would actually work. And hiding it under the tablecloth would have actually been a possibility. So did you do so in the same manner as today? Yes, I poured tea for everyone working on the investigation. Now that you mention it, Uncle Ray also got some tea from you that day. Kate was pushing her service cart back and forth, from the patio to the main building. I see. Did anything seem strange to you then? Well, I remember your old man singing praises of her Ceylon tea, and he also said something about how the saucer was I should have just pressed before I went on my tangent, but I was right! They were chilled. The saucer was chilled. Could Miss Hall have stolen the sculptures then? She stole them then. This was when you stole the sherbet sculptures. I'm sorry, but... Monsieur Shields and company were at the fountain patio the entire time. Are you saying that I stole them in broad daylight? That's precisely what I'm saying. This is where she hid the sculptures, to steal them right under their noses. It's pretty obvious. Underneath the tablecloth. Neither my father nor Mr. Shields realised the sculpture was right in front of them. What you were pushing around was no ordinary service cart. It was the sculpture itself. Overruled? But surely that would still be impossible. If she placed the sculptures on the service cart, people would notice immediately. I never said she used the service cart to move the sculptures. What do you mean? Then what did she use to move the sculptures around? This is what Miss Hall used to transport the sculptures. It could only be the lift trolley. Oh, there we go. The surface of the platform's wet. But that's from 18 years ago, so that doesn't really matter, does it? Dover used this to carry his ice sculptures. Well, there you go. There's your answer. And this is... Oh, it was also in the room. This is the lift trolley Mr. Dover used 18 years ago to move his sherbet sculptures. Oh, I see what she did. She put the sculpture on the trolley, threw a tablecloth on it, and the teapot, the cups and everything. And then, yeah, she would have pushed it around and it would have just looked like the regular trolley. Or the cart. It seems this same lift trolley lies here in the fountain patio. That's because it was originally prepared for the contest in the first place. Are you saying she used the lift trolley to move the sculptures? Yes. Yeah, there we go. If the sculpture were placed on this lift trolley, and then covered with a tablecloth, it could be disguised as a service car and moved around, or moved without arousing suspicion. How could that be? So the saucers were chilled because they were sitting on an ice sculpture, or on the ice sculptures. Ah, Kate. What's the meaning of this? What were you thinking? That was truly impressive. We got it. You certainly are Monsieur Gregory's son. After 18 years, it's hard to imagine any proof that I stole these sculptures remained. But I knew it was only a matter of time until I was suspected. Miss Curator, does this mean you admit to stealing the sculptures? Yes, I admit it. 18 years ago I stole the sherbet sculptures from Monsieur Dover's room. It's just as Monsieur Edgeworth says, I disguised the lift trolley as a service cart, and I served tea as I made my way back and forth. That wasn't all, I also took the ice... Oh, the ice block with all the star clusters on it. An ice block with star clusters on it. That seems familiar. Yeah, it was there. A giant block of ice is being displayed here. It appears to be quite heavy. No, the inside must be hollow. The Winter Palace is a reproduction in Mr. Dover's room from 18 years ago. Because they had melted, my father never got the chance to see them. But those blocks of ice were also originally from Dover's sherbet salon. The 2 sculptures and the 2 blocks of ice. I took everything I could. And then I placed empty glass cases in Monsieur Dover's room. The sculptures were all encased in glass to preserve their fine details. But the ice blocks were being displayed as they were. As per the rules, we prepared the glass cases for Mr. Dover. So it would have been easy for her to prepare the glass cases. In Monsieur Dover's room, there were some sculptures that were still unfinished. I thought if I melted them, it would look like the ones I stole had melted too. So, everything you see in the Winter Palace are all original works from 18 years ago. Miss Hall, it didn't take much to get her to confess. Then she must know. She knows it isn't enough to try her in court. That's all I have to say. But, even though I admit to stealing the sculptures, you can't arrest me for it. What? What do you mean by that? Heavens! You're assisting an investigation without knowing this much? Perhaps you should read this book concerning the Statute of Limitations. Statute of Limitations? A book on the Statute of Limitations in criminal cases. To put it simply, doesn't it run out after, like, 5 or so years? Maybe longer. Oh god, hiccups. So, okay. So the Statute of Limitations, for murder it's 15 years, and theft it's 7 years, so it ran out 11 years ago. If the suspect flees to or lives in a foreign country, the time limit is on hold until the suspect returns. If possible, accomplices are on trial, the countdown is stopped until the verdict is reached, then resumes. If charges are pressed to demand compensation, the statute is frozen, but for the length of that procedure. Huh, okay. Yeah, so we're probably just gonna say, it ran out. It's the time frame in which a suspect can be taken to court. You can see it on this page. Oh, is it gonna show me anyway? Yeah. Of course. Oh well. The statute of limitations for murder is 15 years, and for theft it's 7 years. Ah! That's right. And Miss Hall's theft was 18 years ago. According to the statute, she cannot be arrested for stealing the sculptures. So that's how it is. Stealing evidence from a crime scene is an unforgivable offence. However, for this crime at least, we have no right to pass judgment. It appears that Prosecutor Edgeworth's tepid reasoning has all been for naught. I wonder about that. I deduced Miss Hall's action simply to expose a different crime. If she only took the sculptures, we wouldn't have found the body from 18 years ago. Bum 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 bum. Oh, she also moved the body! Are you saying that I hid Monsieur Dover's body? That's correct. But how can someone hide a body from 18 years ago? I would imagine it would be very difficult under normal circumstances. So you're saying the circumstances weren't normal? Are you claiming that you know where the body was hidden? When you consider Miss Hall's actions, the answer becomes obvious. 18 years ago, Miss Hall stole something more than just sherbet sculptures. If you're so confident, I would like to hear your answer. Where did Miss Hall hide the body? Right. Unless... I'm just looking at it to see. This is the photograph of Mr. Dover's sculptures. Yes. And perhaps you've noticed that the victim's body can be seen in this picture. Hey, Duper Nation. Thanks for stopping by. If you're leaving right away, then it's fine. I hope you have a good day. I appreciate you stopping in. I do not see it. Please point it out clearly. I think I see it. When this picture can one see the body of the victim? So to expose the location of the body in this photograph. I would have said that, but maybe it's... God, I don't know. I would have said it's the sculpture. Because it kind of looks like him, or it could have been the cloaked one. It's hard to say. I'll just present here and see. It's either right or it's wrong. And apparently it's right. The Gemini Sculpture. Yes. While it may look like the Gemini Sculpture at first glance, in reality, this is none other than Isaac Dover himself. This ice sculpture was the victim's body? But all I can see from this picture is an ice sculpture statue. That's because a certain piece of evidence was used to conceal it. Conceal it? Which piece of evidence did Miss Hall use to conceal the body? Oh, I see. Okay. This is the cloth that was covering the sculptures in the Autumn Palace. This cloth manipulates light. With it, it's entirely possible to make something look like ice. Isn't that right, Delicia? You see? When it glows red, it's like a raging inferno. When it glows blue, you can almost feel the glittering cool ice. Yes, thank you for that, at least. That cloth will only emit light when it is attached to a special device. Judge Courtney, look closely at the picture one more time. Beneath the Gemini case lies a box-shaped object attached to the pedestal. My goodness! Yeah, no worries, dude. Have a good day. Have a good lunch. And thanks for stopping by. This is a rainbow light device. Detective Gumshoe reported one in the Winter Palace. This is the device that went missing 18 years ago. Originally, it would have been attached to the cloth inside the glass case. Naturally, Miss Hall took the device with her when she moved the sculptures. By using the rainbow light device to make the fluorescent cloth glow, Mr. Dover's body was made to look like an ice sculpture. That's ridiculous. So then, when Uncle Ray took a photo of the Winter Palace... That's right, the body had been in front of us all along, disguised as Gemini. However, the body and the fluorescent cloth were both discovered in the fountain. If the ice sculpture was the body, we would have found it in the Winter Palace. If we had found it there, her trick would have been revealed immediately. Miss Hall moved the body out of the Winter Palace to prevent us from discovering it. Absurd. You say she threw the body into the fountain without any of us noticing? No, Judge Courtney. There was no need for that. She simply used the same method as before. Remember the lift trolley? She moved the body to some other room and dumped it into the stream to the fountain. Naturally, the frozen body would have sunk to the bottom of the fountain. That's why the cloth floated up first and was found by Delicia. That makes sense as to why his body has not become goopy, as Kay put it. And eventually, the body thawed out and floated to the top, or floated to the surface. Oh Jesus. Monsieur Edgeworth, you truly have a gift for deductive reasoning. However, do you have any proof that I moved the body? Yes, actually. The sketch of beauties. If you cannot prove that, then there is no way I can accept what you are saying. Wasn't there anyone who saw Miss Hall move the body? Yes, I believe such a person exists. The answers lie in the evidence that person gave me. And that piece of evidence will reveal the truth of Miss Hall's actions. Prosecutor Edgeworth, are you able to prove the crime of Miss Curator? Certainly. I have evidence that will show exactly what she did. Then it's time we see your answer. Which piece of evidence reveals a Miss Curator's actions? Sketch of beauties, because she has a red cloth. A blue cloth. What is this? Another sketch? Oh, it appears I have been drawn in this one. This is a sketch Larry drew of the women at the fountain patio. I would like to direct your attention to the service cart on the left side of the sketch. Service cart? What about it? Don't you see? What transpired 18 years ago has happened again. Miss Hall was moving the body in this sketch. No. Please, wait. I don't see Monsieur Dover's body anywhere in that drawing. All I did was hand out chocolates to everyone. The key detail in this sketch is the colour of the tablecloth. Up until now, I thought Larry had just made a mistake. It's actually the fluorescent cloth. The tablecloth, it's light blue. It may be light blue in the sketch, but no blue tablecloths exist in this mansion. Perhaps it's light blue because the body was hidden, still glowing, underneath the tablecloth. Oh, I see, okay. What? But the lift trolley is rectangular in the sketch. If she just placed the body in the lift trolley, we would notice it immediately. There were 2 blocks of ice in the Winter Palace that are completely hollowed out. If she put the body inside the block of ice, it would look like a surface cart. That's... Miss Hall? You put the body in the block of ice and used the lift trolley to move it, didn't you? I never imagined you would be able to deduce so much from just a single sketch. But what if it was just a mistake, like you said before? It doesn't prove anything. I agree that alone the sketch is worthless. Once you remove the body, the service cart would revert back to a lift trolley. That's why the lift trolley was left behind in the fountain patio. And without the service cart, there would be no place for you to put your chocolates. The chocolates I gave everyone. Until then, the chocolates had sat on top of the service cart, as you gave them away. But when you gave them to us, you took them from your pocket. Ah, now that you mention it, they were a bit melted. But they were still really sweet and tasty. So why was it necessary to put them in your pocket halfway through? That's because once the body was disposed of, you no longer had a service cart. Ah! Hold it right there. If she put the chocolates in her pocket and left the lift trolley in the patio, then where did the tablecloth go? If she had been forced to put the chocolates in her pocket, she wouldn't have had time to dispose of the tablecloth. Prosecutor Edgeworth, can you answer that for me? The tablecloth wasn't hidden. It's right in front of us. She using it as like an apron. Do clarify. The tablecloth used to hide the body, where is it now? She has it with her. Isn't it obvious? Miss Hall is carrying it with her out in the open. It is! Yeah, waistcloth is more so what I meant, not apron. Out in the open? Ah, you mean... Miss Hall? You are wearing the tablecloth around your waist. Wait a minute, is that actually shown in the sketch? It isn't. I mean, I just guessed with that. It was fairly obvious. The block of ice was not encased in a glass case. In other words, the tablecloth was in direct contact with the block of ice. If we have it examined, we will undoubtedly find traces of sherbet on it. Miss Hall, you will turn your tablecloth over to the police at once. There's no need to examine the tablecloth. Or she's going to admit. It's just as you say. I stole the poison from Madame Delicia, and I moved the body. Ah. I have done terrible things. Madame Delicia, I am so sorry. 1 week ago I took your Megatoxin X bottle. I slipped it into that man's pocket to make it look like suicide. If they suspected it was murder, the evidence would point to Madame Delicia. But Katie... Kate... What were you thinking? Weren't we always trying to save Mr. Master together? I could not let myself be arrested. Not until I had proven Monsieur Master's innocence. From the very beginning, I had planned to turn myself in once everything was over. But I suppose it is too late to say that now. Kate, why? Why would you go this far? Even for Monsieur Shields, I've caused nothing but trouble. For the past 18 years, I have been a criminal. The IS-7 incident, don't tell me that you were the true culprit. My greatest crime was stealing the sherbet sculptures for my own selfish interests. When Monsieur Dover died, they were no longer just ordinary sculptures. They had become the final works of the sculptor Monsieur Master so deeply loved. What if they had melted before Monsieur Master returned? With that in mind, I couldn't let anyone touch them, not even the police. Even though I knew it was wrong, I moved them to the mansion's freezer. However, I only wanted to preserve Monsieur Dover's art. I did not know his body was hidden among them. So she stole the sculptures without noticing the body. Monsieur Master would never take another person's life. But because of me, the body vanished, and Monsieur Master was found. Guilty. That kind man. He treated someone like me as family. He meant more to me than anyone else, and yet... Kate. When Monsieur Master was found guilty, I was chased out of this mansion. I was finally able to reclaim the mansion just a few days ago, but... When I saw the sculpture still sleeping away in the freezer, I realized that I was the one who hid Monsieur Dover's body. However, the statute of limitations had already expired. Therefore, I could think of no other way to atone for my sins. It appears I have misunderstood her. It seems she caused this entire incident in order to save Mr. Master. What are you thinking about, Mr. Edgeworth? There is one thing that has been bothering me this whole time. Why would Miss Hall plan a murder with such an uncertain method like poison gas? And the reason she disguised the Autumn Palace to look like the Winter Palace was to make those involved in the incident 18 years ago confuse the two rooms. Wait a minute. I have a theory that she poisoned, like planted the trap inside the, was it Pisces sculpture? To make it, and also covered it up with a cloth to make it look like the Gemini statue, or sculpture, I'm going to use those words a lot. So that when the true person, the real murderer, tried to, I guess, remove the body from the sculpture, it would spring the trap and knock them out, exposing them. That's all I can think. And that's why she made the Autumn Palace look like the Winter Palace, because people from the IS-7 incident would think that the Autumn Palace was the Winter Palace, just like Ray did at the beginning of the case. Huh. That's my theory. Still don't know who it is. But it's a theory. I wonder what Kate was trying to accomplish. Because now that we know the body was hidden inside the sculpture, and it wasn't hidden by Kate. She was trying to prove Mr. Master's innocence. In that case, Miss Hall's true objective was to find the true culprit. Perhaps she was trying to find the true culprit. Miss Hall, were you trying to prove Mr. Master's innocence? You wanted to reveal the true culprit and have the police find the body from 18 years ago. Was that not your true goal? By displaying those sculptures, you'd attract those involved in the past incident. Only two people would know where the body was hidden, you and the true culprit. The culprit would have panicked, knowing that the body would be displayed publicly. Yes, and if the culprit really showed up, there's the risk they'd erase their tracks. In the worst case scenario, they might have even stolen the body. So, how could you protect the evidence whilst simultaneously luring in the culprit? I see. That's why she made the Autumn Palace look like the Winter Palace. Yes, and then, Miss Hall, you must have thought, whoever opens this Pisces case, believing it to be the Gemini case, must be the true culprit of the IS-7 incident. Boom! I was spot on! Which means it's Gustavia. Oh. What? But that means that person is the true culprit. Please, wait a moment. Prosecutor Edgeworth, do you realise what you're saying? Do you intend to accuse that person of being the culprit behind the IS-7 incident? I do indeed. Miss Hall was trying to trap the true culprit. If so, wouldn't the person who fell for the trap be the true culprit? Why else would somebody just randomly open up a sculpture's case? However, I have no evidence to back up my claims. If I make a formal accusation without any proof, it will not end well. Should I announce the true killer of Isaac Dover? Yes. Make an accusation. What I should do is reveal the truth. In that case, there is no need to hesitate. Yes, that's correct, Judge Carney. I indict this person as the true culprit behind the IS-7 incident. Can't believe it. Really? Dane Gustavia, who fell victim to the poison gas, is the true culprit of the IS-7 incident. Gusty is Mr. Gustavia. Miss Hall, didn't you believe that if you open this gallery, the true culprit would come? That's why you set up the poison gas trap, is it not? You truly have a gifted mind, just like your father. It is as you say, Monsieur Edgeworth. Now, would you please tell us the whole truth? Yes, I have nothing more to hide. I will tell you everything. I set a trap in the gallery to find the true culprit. Before the gallery opened, I left only the Autumn Palace unlocked. At opening time, when I went around to unlock each room, I discovered that the Autumn Palace had been locked from the inside. I knew that the true culprit was on the other side of the door. My hand was trembling. All that was left was the trap to do it, or was for the trap to do its work. When I heard Monsieur Gustavia was exposed to the poison gas, I realised he was the culprit. And then I thought that if the police discovered Monsieur Dover's body, it would prove Monsieur Master's innocence. Why didn't you ever come talk to me? There might have been another way. I know that you did everything you could for me over the past 18 years. However, all of this had been brought on by my own crime. That's why I wanted to save Monsieur Master as soon as possible. Kate. Not only that, the police hid the fact that the body went missing 18 years ago. Even if I reported the body, there was a chance that the truth would be hidden again. That's why I caused the incident at the museum's opening, with as many witnesses as possible. I'm sorry. Gregory, Mr. Master, and even you. I couldn't protect anyone. Mr. Shields.